What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we got some parts for the V6 MR2. Specifically, we got some adjustable strut rods. To be fully transparent, I've never bought anything from Megan Racing, but when I think about the company, quality is not the first thing that comes to mind. I got these strut rods out of curiosity. When it comes to MR2s, there's really only two readily available options. Number one is the Wilhelm strut rods, and I actually run that on my other MR2. They have been fantastic for the last year or so. The other option are these Megan Racing strut rods. As I mentioned, I've never personally bought anything from Megan Racing, but I figured why not give it a shot. I'm pleasantly surprised to say that these strut rods actually seem like they're decent quality. Luckily, there's not much to strut rods. I mean, we have this portion of the rod, which attaches to a portion of the lower control arm. Here is the adjustment, and then this attaches to a bracket. The Heim joint seems pretty beefy. I am curious how long the Heim joint will last. I know it's never gonna last long compared to like a traditional bushing, but having some quality Heim joints makes a huge difference in longevity. I do wanna note that there's actually no finish issues. It also comes with all the hardware, which it seems like your standard hardware, so I think that's going to be good enough. Here's the plan moving forward. I just got off of work and I really don't feel like working on the car because, well, it's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm going to pack everything back in the box, and this coming weekend, we're going to try to install the strut rod, see what the fitment is actually like, and we'll go from there. Hey everyone, it's a few days later and we're going to be installing these strut rods on the V6 MR2. Before we go through that process though, I want to talk about why I'm installing them on my car. Here's the stock strut rod on my car, and there's no adjustment on it. Having that adjustable strut rod is going to be sweet because it's going to obviously allow me to add a positive caster, so pull the wheel more forward in the wheel well. That's going to add a camber as I turn the wheels, which is going to be a really good thing for cornering. The downside to running a bunch of positive caster is that it could definitely impact steering feel and make it very tough. On to removing the strut rod. Over here, it's just 2 bolts, and then I got to undo the one over here where it mounts to the chassis. It's just 3 bolts, and this stuff should come on out relatively easy. Taking off the OEM strut rod was super easy. 3 bolts, it literally came off in about 2 minutes, and obviously I needed to use the mallet to just kind of hammer it out very gently, of course. And here's the comparison, both of them side by side. You'll notice at this end where the bushing is, this is considerably smaller than this, but they do have some spacers. So with those spacers, one going on each side, it should fit in the bracket with no issue. On the OEM strut rod, you can see that there's no room for adjustment. It's just, well, a straight rod. Over here, there is a way to adjust it anyways. Then on the far end, this is where it connects to the lower control arm. Here it has 2 studs already just kind of in the rod itself. Over here, there's just 2 bolts that we'll have to put on. Got the first bolt in. The second, that just slid right in. Obviously, I can put the 2 bolts in place. And I think what I'm going to do over here to make my life easy is I'm going to leave these bolts in place, and I'm just going to extend this. And then once it looks like it's about lined up with the hole, I'll push this strut rod over. I'll put the spacer in, and since it's pushing towards the outside of the car, that will give me space to put the other spacer in, and it should work fine. I am pretty shocked to say that this fit with no issues at all. The plan is we're going to take off the strut rod from this side of the car. There's less room here just because of the shelf and everything. So I'll just set the camera up and we'll do a little time lapse here. For the adjustment portion, what I ended up doing is I actually had the wheel on the car, and then I adjusted the strut rod so it pulled everything as far forward as it potentially could be without rubbing on the front side of the wheel well. I measured the strut rod on the passenger side, and then I matched that on the driver's side. That's the same exact process that I did with the white MR2 when I installed the adjustable strut rods on that car, and when I got the alignment, the caster ended up being virtually identical side to side. So it should be good enough. Although I do want to emphasize that I will be getting an alignment on the car anyways, because I've done a bunch of suspension question mark. Here are my final thoughts on this product. Going into this, I really didn't have high expectations because, as I mentioned earlier, when I think of Megan racing, quality is not the first thing that comes to mind. I was pleasantly surprised that the finish on the rod seemed fine. Additionally, I was really happy that the fitment was fine. It's really common that you have to modify aftermarket parts to make them fit. Really, the only question I have about this product is how long the Heim joint's gonna last. Now, nothing on the product tells me that it's gonna like fail in a day or two. It's just more of the fact that how long that joint lasts will tell us how good of a product it is and if it's worth it or not. I will be driving my V6 MR2 pretty hard and really stressing that out, so we'll see how long it lasts. My intuition tells me it's probably gonna be fine for a few seasons, but we'll see. Now comes the question, will I buy this product again? And the answer to that is maybe. My first choice would be the Wilhelm strut rods. And the main reason there is that they're an MR2 vendor and I'd rather support them first. Now here's the thing, the Megan strut rods are actually about $100 cheaper than the Wilhelm strut rods. So if you're tight on cash, the Megan ones are probably gonna be your best bet just because you're saving $100. I paid $160 for these Megan racing strut rods. The Wilhelm ones are $240, but then you have to add on shipping charges since you have to send in your OEM ones as a core. The second thing to take into account is that if you're going with the Wilhelm strut rods, your car is gonna be down for longer because you have to send in your strut rods, then get ones back. Let's just say it's a week there, a week back, so 2 weeks overall. The Megan racing strut rods, I ordered them and I got them in about 4 business days. To sum it up, the Megan strut rods seem perfectly fine, but I would still prefer to get the Wilhelm adjustable strut rods just because I prefer to support an MR2 vendor. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. My whole purpose in even buying these strut rods was to make this video and help others make an informed decision. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section down below. I'll do my best to answer them. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.